Hello, this is Overlord with Intense Gaming TV. Today I have for you a review of the Singularity single-player campaign. This game was released on June 30th, 2010 by Activision and Ravensoft. During the Cold War between 1949 and 1950, Soviet Russia decided they needed one step up from the United States to gain security. They find an element on the island known as Katorga-12. The element is called E99. Being pushed to a deadline, they failed to use safety regulations, causing a catastrophic event on Katorga-12. Everything disappears until 2010, when some mysterious activity has been recorded on the atoll outside Russia. America has a plan to send a stealth flyby to see what's up, and that is where our story begins. That is the first question most people ask about a single-player game. Is there a story? Well, this game has one. Most of it is everything you have probably seen before. Along the lines of someone reports something, you get sent to see what it is, all hell breaks loose, you have weird creatures as well as military after you, and they make you do it all by yourself. That is the general gist of this game. The story goes into extreme depth and actually turns out to capture your interest. It starts out slow without knowing much of what you're supposed to do, but along your journeys you find notes and recorders that help you get more of the history of the small island. Eventually you run into a group called Mir 12 that helps you on your journeys to find the truth about the Singularity, which seems to be the cause of all this mayhem. As you just seen a second ago, I had time travel back to the accident. This game does that frequently, which helps you get an even better idea of the backstory. Later on in the story, you get a time manipulation device, better known as the TMD. It gives you the ability to, you guessed it, manipulate time. You can not only alter time for yourself, but you can alter single objects as well. Let's say you clean out a chest of ammo in E99. Make the chest go back into time to where it was full again. You can also use the TMD on enemies. You can turn the humans into mutants, age enemies so fast they disintegrate into nothing, and even turn the mutants human again. You might think, this is pretty fun. Even with a fair amount of possibilities, to me this was short-lived, even if it made combat a bit more interesting. As you go through the game, you will have what I think of as special challenges or special levels. I had the most fun at these portions of the game. They come in different forms, but mainly you versus time or you versus a giant monster. These challenges were adrenaline-packed and full of fun. Like a lot of games these days, the developers want replay value. So for replay value, they give you 3 different endings. You do this to get that, or that to get this. Well, you get the point. Instead of replaying the entire campaign, you could revert back to your last save point if you care what the other 2 endings are. As far as playing the entire game for each ending, that is pushing it. You get to do a lot in this game. Shooting, running, and even swimming. I also love the fact that every door you must go through, you have to kick open. This is a horror suspense story, and it shows deeply. The AI is pretty decent run-of-the-mill AI. The mutants that you fight can sneak up on you and pop out at the last minute, which gives that scare factor that most of you are looking for in these type of games. The humans are a bit stupid though. In the events I have ran into them, they do not hide from return fire at all, which makes them kind of easy. The mutants are hard to kill, on the other hand, as it usually takes 2 headshots to drop one to the ground. I like this though because if a mutant happens to pounce as I go around a corner, I can't spray, and I must aim as to not waste ammo. There are a lot of weapons in this game, including pistols, assault rifles, shotguns, and sniper rifles. These are pretty realistic as most of them are older Russian arms which have equal recoil and muzzle flash as to what they might have had in 1950. Some of the weapons, of course, are way newer, found on recently dead military ops. Ammo is usually pretty common as you don't run out too often because killing the mutants by melee deals a lot of damage to yourself. You can carry up to 2 weapons at a time plus the ability to melee. You can purchase weapon upgrades and ammo at weapon lockers located around the island. To purchase these upgrades you use the element E99, which you collect around the game as well. You can find E99 in red colored chests around the island as well as lying in piles of rubbish and suitcases. You can find ammo for your weapons, health kits, and syringes that give you a health boost in these red chests as well. This gives an RPG feeling to the game because you need to look around. Although the world is pretty linear, you can turn the wrong way to find a dead end. But that doesn't mean you don't want to turn the wrong way because it can lead to chests. E99 is valuable as you won't make it far without a few weapon upgrades along the way. I believe this runs on the Unreal 3 engine, which is a bit dated, so the graphics aren't the best. Don't get me wrong, the graphics aren't bad, but they aren't taxing to a system either. Ravensoft did do some work with the Unreal engine, and this game doesn't look bad at all. I would say on par with most of today's games, and more detailed than most of today's games. But I would have liked to seen smoother edges and better physics. I believe this game runs on the Unreal 3 engine, which is a bit dated, so I was surprised on how well it looked. Ravensoft did do some work with the Unreal Engine, and this game looks pretty good. I would say on par with most of today's games and more detailed than most, but I would have liked to see smoother edges and better physics. Singularity is a game in its own. Similar to Fear and Stalker, it makes you think on the edge of your seat the entire game. No real direction or markers telling you where to go is a nice touch on the fear factor. You can always expect to jump because things happen in the strangest of places. Although it's very linear, it's like a good book. You want to know what happens next, so you keep playing. Some people have reported texture issues, but this game looks really good for a rather dated Unreal Engine. The developers were obviously and drastically limited using the Unreal tech, which is not a good thing for any game coming out nowadays. But it still managed to hold my interest. I didn't expect much from a game I have barely heard anything about, but it really surprised me. I'm going to give this game an 8 out of 10. I want to thank you for watching this Intense Gaming TV review. Comment, like, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out the FreeFallers Clan weekly podcast on iTunes.